Welcome to the Leadership Art Podcast. I'm your host, Art Robbins, and it's great to have you join us. The Leadership Art Podcast features insightful conversations with industry leaders who lead with purpose, and our purpose is to inspire you to be the best leader you can be. Well, we are living in exciting times. We're experiencing innovations and technological breakthroughs unlike anything seen over the entire history of mankind. Our Leadership Art podcast episodes have highlighted many of these latest innovations, but I thought I'd do something different today. Instead of talking about the future, I thought I'd take us back a few years, 500 years in fact, to 1519. That's right, because in May of 1519, just over 500 years ago, Leonardo da Vinci died. When you think about innovation, who better than Leonardo sets the example for all of us? And he did it at a time without technology, transportation, communication, and information resources. He did it driven by his own inherent talents, genius, and humanity. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to get close to Leonardo and appreciate his impact. In 2019, I had the privilege of speaking at an innovation breakfast in Milan, Italy, which you might know was one of Leonardo's hometowns. At the breakfast, we were talking about all sorts of breakthrough innovations: robotics, self-healing materials, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, etc., etc. This was all pretty interesting stuff, but all the buzz in the city was about Leonardo and his 500th anniversary, not about the future, but about the past. How is this possible? I had to find out. So I decided at the spur of the moment, in the 1 hour I had before leaving for the airport, to hop over to the church where the Last Supper is, one of Leonardo's great masterpieces. Boy, was I mistaken. There was no way I was going to see the Last Supper at the last minute. I was informed that the soonest I could get a ticket was for 3 months from now, for a 500-year-old artwork. That's longer than I had to wait to see Hamilton, which at the time was the hottest ticket on Broadway. Well, disappointed as I was, I walked away from the church and the ticket window, and I saw people leaving who had the foresight to get advance tickets. I saw the wonderment in their eyes and heard the excitement in their voices. What was it about the experience that caused this? Was it the religious impact, the spirituality, the mathematical perspective, the mysticism, or just the sheer artistic beauty of this masterpiece? Well, Leonardo was able to combine all of that and create an impact that sustains centuries. How did he do it? Wouldn't it be great if today's innovators could have an impact that sustains centuries as well? I had to find out more. This actually piqued my curiosity on what made Leonardo Leonardo. And I had heard that Walter Isaacson had recently written a biography about him. This was actually very exciting for me because those of you that don't know or haven't read Isaacson's work, he's a great biographer and given us insights into some of the world's greatest minds. I've read his work on Steve Jobs and Einstein, which I highly recommend, by the way, and now it was time for me to learn about Leonardo. I've been working with companies and CEOs to grow faster and innovate better. But how did Leonardo innovate? What can he teach us from his 15th century experiences that's still relevant today? What I learned was what Leonardo accomplished was a product of his unbridled passion for knowledge, his insatiable curiosity, and even his quirky, very human habits. Leonardo was not considered a scholar. He was self-taught. He had many faults that probably would have frustrated a 21st century manager to no end. He started projects and didn't finish. He procrastinated. He would easily get distracted. Yet Isaacson noted that Leonardo's brilliance spanned multiple disciplines, which gave him a profound feel for nature's patterns and cross-currents. Leonardo was able to make connections that no one else possibly could. In his own style, he demonstrated a genius and became a true Renaissance man with unparalleled creativity, mixing arts and science and reality and fantasy to have breakthrough creations and ideas that were centuries ahead of their time and standing the test of time. His observational skills were unmatched, along with his ability to see the wonderment in everything and connect the dots that no one else could see. This led him to explore things like, how did insects fly? How did eddies swirl? How does light reflect off mirrors? How do heart valves work? What are the dimensions of a human? What is the perspective of a room? And how can a woodpecker survive after constantly banging its head against a tree? And this led to timeless works of art, the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, the Vitruvian Man. It led to future designs of flying machines, helicopters, parachutes, cannons, military weapons, and bridges, centuries ahead of their time. Isaacson shared many lessons to be learned from Leonardo, but I'm going to share with you what I consider the top 5 are that each of us can apply in our daily lives to unleash the inner genius in all of us. First, be relentlessly curious. Second, seek knowledge for its own sake. 3, retain a childlike sense of wonder. 4, be observant. And finally, 5, indulge fantasy. So I want to thank Walter for sharing these lessons, and I hope that these best practices resonate with you, our modern innovators, and our future leaders. There's a lot of talk these days about artificial intelligence and machine learning and replacing or perfecting human capabilities with machines. Well, how do you perfect Leonardo? You can't. No AI engine could ever replicate, yet alone improve his genius. Because if you look at the lessons and you look at what made him great, it was his human traits, curiosity, wonderment, observation, creativity, and all of his imperfections. All these traits of his humanity and his very being that made him who he was, the greatest innovator of all time. And as you're listening today and thinking about how to unleash the inner Leonardo in all of you, please recognize that you all have unique talents, creativity, and genius to continue to innovate. As a business leader these days, you need to innovate, to break the status quo, to create a compelling vision and mission, and to implement it. And as business leaders, you also have the ability and the resources to motivate and inspire people to join the journey with you. So I want to challenge our audience and ask, how can your genius, your innovation, your passion be channeled to better the lives of people, your community, your industry, and our planet? And I'm confident you all as leaders will take this challenge and continue to build on your successes, grow your leadership impact, and make a better world. That's it for now. Let me know what you think of today's Leadership Art article. React, comment, and share your own experiences. And as always, thank you for listening and for your ongoing support. And until the next episode of the Leadership Art Podcast, this is your host, Art Robbins. And remember, it's your lead.